Hello, everyone. It's Dennis here with Collider Games, and I'm joined by first from South Africa and also clean shaven now.
Joshua Weyers.
Yeah, you
Dude,
look like
wearing a mask feels so different now without a beard, by the way.
I'm sure it's a lot more comfortable, right?
Oh, way more comfortable. I'm just lazy, so I hate shaving, and it's difficult to get a good trimmer. But I was getting sick and tired of the beard, but also I regret it because I'm freezing, Dennis. It is
hmm
cold here. The only reason I'm not wearing a jacket is because I got a heater next to me right now.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like I'm keeping my long hair and my beard because I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for
Winter is
winter
coming.
to hit. It's still not hit. It's October, and it's like still super hot here in Los Angeles. And also we're joined by Dorian Parks. Dorian, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Still dealing with the aftermath of Phasmophobia, but we'll
Oh
talk
yeah.
about that a little bit later.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot of stuff to say about that. All right, not a huge news week in terms of big game stories, but there was a lot of like smaller news. Earlier this week we had the Ghost of Tsushima Legends update. I think they're calling it version 1.1. It's going to add some minor updates to the original game, which include like new trophies, new options for photo mode. Also, for me, the best part is the custom gear armor loadouts. Instead of changing each individual piece, like every time you had to you want to do something different, you had to all right, I got to change the head, the armor, all this stuff, and now it's all in one easy click. But the thing that most people are waiting for is the Legends part, the online multiplayer. They kind of revealed some more footage and also more details. There's going to be that 4-player survival mode, the 2-player story missions, which I'm excited about. And then there's going to be some post-launch raid stuff as well. And they showed off some of the customization you can do with these different classes of Legends characters. Let me start with Josh. First, what do you think about this new stuff, and then how are you doing with the game right now, because I know you just recently got it?
I was very busy this week. I went to go visit my folks, which is like in the middle of nowhere, and I didn't play any games this week at all. Very sad, but I'm looking forward to hopping onto it tomorrow again because I still haven't played. I've only played like the first maybe 20 minutes of Ghost of Tsushima. Like they're still explaining to me how the mechanics work, but based off of the video that I saw, it is very satisfying to see the armor changes go like within one go, which is quite nice. Looking forward to co-op, seeing as we all have it now, so we can actually maybe get a stream in, or like we'll get some content for sure. Oh yeah,
definitely. And it's coming out next week. Next week is actually a pretty big week with Quest 2 coming out. I'll talk about Walking Dead Saints and Sinners on Quest. It's coming out. What else is coming out? And the Ghost of Tsushima Legends update is coming out as well. So a lot of big stuff. I'm probably missing some other gaming stuff as well. Dorian, what do you think of this trailer and kind of the new details of this?
Just got me more excited for it. Ghost of Tsushima right now is currently still, I think, my game of the year. I think so. So this just getting to play and revisit it more. I've played it a little bit since I've completed the full game, but haven't really done too much. Tried to do the hardest mode and see how I could do with that, but haven't really revisited, done a few photo modes. But besides that, just been trying to keep it away, just so when I do get to play this co-op mode, I can feel that excitement again. So definitely excited for it. I wasn't expecting it to get revealed or to drop this October. I thought we were going to get it in November or December at the latest, but so glad we're getting it earlier than we expected. So definitely looking forward to this. Really excited to get into this co-op player mode. Hopefully they give us a beta, or they let us get access to it early or something, because your boy has been waiting for this for a minute now. So for us to actually get to jump into it, I'm excited, because one of the things that really attracted me to it was it said this type of co-op mode really relies on you being communicative and really being a teammate rather than just going at it alone. So the moves, the combat, the combos, all of that rely on better communication and just being a team player. So I think that's going to add a new level to this game that we haven't got to see before. So definitely ready for this.
Yeah, October 16th was next Friday. I'm excited. Yeah, we definitely should be streaming stuff. There's, like I said, the 4-player survival mode's cool, but that type of stuff to me, where it's just kind of waves and waves of enemies and you just see how long you survive and how many you can kill, that's fine. But I'm more excited about either the 2-player story missions plus these post-launch raids where you like have an actual objective and task to do. So I think a lot of people are going to be hopping on this, and I also haven't really played it much. After I beat it, I did try and clear out some of the bases or whatever. I didn't do 100%, but I kind of purposely said, all right, you know what? I'm going to put this away for now and wait until the update with the co-op stuff comes out. Then I'll get back into it. Plus there's a lot of other stuff to keep playing with. So
yeah, I wonder what the
my question for you guys is, out of the 4 classes available, which ones are you leaning towards most? Because I'm not gonna lie, dude, Ronin sounds amazing. The fact that I can summon a spirit dog and then pet it and it fights with me, that's sick.
Yeah, that was another detail that was revealed. It's like, people were complaining about having to kill the dogs in the game, especially like coming off of off of Last of Us Part 2, which you said you were fine with because they annoyed you.
I was cool with killing the dogs in Ghost of Tsushima. Like, those dogs were annoying as hell. The ones in Last of Us, I was like, I actually felt bad about killing them. I was like, all right. But Ghost of Tsushima, no, those dogs are demon dog. Like, F them dogs. I don't care about their virtual pets or whatever.
But now you can make, there's a charm you can get that makes them become allies if you use that charm, you pet them and they join your side, which is, a kind of cool.
It's gonna add a level of, like, a certain level of immersion as well, in the game. What I find interesting, because now that they've actually broken, because we spoke about these 4 classes previously when they first announced this, but they never really gave us a breakdown as to what each class is going to do and what they're capable of. And I find it interesting that the Ronin is sort of like the healer of the group, because his ultimate ability is that he can revive the teammates. So it does seem like, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, let's just say, like, you need a 4-person party. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like you really, to have your best experience, you need to have 4 people playing each class. But I like that they each have like their own techniques and stuff, and it seems really sick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always usually goes for brute force, so I probably would go with the samurai. Second would probably be Ronin. So, what
about you, Dorian?
I think I probably would go with Ronin as well. But, I don't know. I'm out of the 4 of them, like, looking at them here again, I like the one that calls to me the most now that, like, I'm just revisiting them is probably Ronin. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm pretty basic.
Ronin and Assassin seem pretty sick.
But definitely going to try out all of them once we get our hands on them.
Yeah, for sure. Then that's the fun of it, right? You just kind of switch around. Like, all right, this time I'm going to be this, you be that, or whatever, and get a different feel for it.
I'm interested to see what these blessings are that they speak of, because it's like, we're obviously like for the survival aspect, it's 4 of us playing. We're doing waves of monsters, and the longer you last, the better your rewards are, experience, etc. And then you can you get these blessings in the game that you pick up, and they're like, I mean, they've just mentioned 2 here. One's like ignite enemies. The other is summon a spirit bear. So I'm like wondering how crazy these blessings can get. Like, first of all, how cool it's going to be for us to like get an epic like combo killing dudes, and then we summon a spirit bear to fight with us. That sounds really fun. And I can see them like expanding this a lot with like adding new blessings in, changing up the gameplay a bit. There's wiggle room. There's a lot of wiggle room here for them to like play around with game modes and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
They're just about to Avengers this.
All right. Let's move on to the next thing. We've got Cyberpunk 2077 has now gone gold.
Oh, wait, Dennis, hold up. Sorry. I didn't know if this was part of it. I didn't see that New Game Plus mode is coming out as well for Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, yeah. I saw
New Game Plus, New Game Plus horse. I don't know what that means, but yeah. So you get to, I don't know, that's quite sick. I'm always happy when they add a New Game Plus mode. Sorry, I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I think personally for me, I just, at that point, I just, because with the New Game Plus, isn't that just, what is it, like harder, more challenges or whatever?
No, well, usually you just play the game, but OP. It's like playing the game over, but you're just overpowered, and it's easier for you to get certain things. And like, sometimes there's like other, like, it depends on the game company, but like for the most part, you're just playing the game through overpowered. Some other game developers will change it up where it's like there'll be other areas you couldn't have reached before because you were too weak, you know what I mean? So you can experience it differently. But
what mode are you playing it on?
I'm just
Gosh.
playing on normal for now.
Yeah, I played on normal.
Yeah,
Oh,
normal.
but
I know-
also,
I'm
you brought it up off camera that you are I think you've already mentioned on the podcast as well, but you are colorblind. So have you tried to do the you've only played about 20 minutes, but have you tried to do the Kurosawa mode while it's all
Bro.
gray, white, black and white?
dude, during like, you know that the showdown thing you do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You have to do that in Kurosawa mode. There's no way I can do that with, like, every time I call, like, I have to be in Kurosawa mode. It just looks so sick. So sick.
Yeah, I've done the because they did like a previous patch update where it's like the super hard mode, and there's a video on the channel now. People are giving me shit.
Yeah,
They're
lethal
like,
mode.
Yeah, lethal mode. They're like, you're trash. I'm like, bro, no. Like, you get one hit and you're dead. That doesn't make me trash. I'm sorry I missed one goddamn parry, but I'm besides the point now. Like, that's old news. But Josh, you should try that mode and let me know what you think.
I will try it out this week.
Cool. All right. Cyberpunk 2077 gone gold. It's coming out on November 19th. Which, remember they had the whole kind of, it wasn't as big a controversy as some other ones about the crunch time because, they did emphasize, one, they didn't want to do it. Two, they were paying, per hour, and people were getting compensated well. Plus, there's also rev share as well with the game. So I think it's one of the least criticized crunch time ones, other than like, because I've heard, there's other studios before where crunch time has been hugely criticized by the fan base because I've known some people that worked at some studios during those times, and they're like almost living there, for like 4 or 5, 6 weeks, and they don't get, any extra pay.
Well, I guess, like, there's got to be at least a little bit of relief that it's gone gold,
Yeah.
Like, they're still going to be working real hard. Like you said, like, we're going to get a huge day one patch. I'd imagine, like, there's still going to be, like, whatever extra work needs to be done now will be brought to us as a day one patch, but they got to start, like, shipping out those disc versions, you know what I mean, all across the world. So
it's interesting. IGN has said they've played 4 hours of the game so far, and that it feels like the Warren Spector game Deus Ex. I don't know if you guys played that, but I played that on the PC when it came out.
Wait, what?
I played.
Is that the one where
Deus Ex Machina? I played
one of them, and I did not like it at all.
It was like a tactical shooter RPG, the Square Enix one. Yeah.
Let me see.
That was a sick game.
Well,
honestly.
they had
graphics
two.
were great.
They had the original one on the PC, and then
I never played the original.
Yeah, I played the original
Didn't they have
one.
3 technically? Technically, they had 3, I guess, because there was Deus Ex Machina, Human something, which was that was the
Human
one
Revolution. I played that one as well, but I played the first one.
I've never played that one, but I can picture the cover art so well. Like, it's such iconic cover art for the original Deus Ex.
Yeah. Let me look at the list.
Yep, I remember playing one of them for like 20 minutes. Okay. I think this was a long time ago, like years ago, and I was just like, and it's like first person. I wasn't not.
Yeah, I think you probably played the Human Revolution one.
I don't know, but I'll give it a chance. I'll revisit them, but like, no,
it's a slow start, but like you get into the RPG aspects later. It's also like one of those games where I couldn't really get into it, but a lot of people loved it. You know what I mean?
It's more RPG than FPS. Yeah. I remember playing the first one. Yeah. So right now I'm looking at there's
because I know they
5 different versions.
I think the one I played.
5. Yeah. There's
Mankind Divided. I think that's the one I played.
Okay, I never played that one.
I think that was the third.
No, that's like the 5th one. 5th one.
Really?
There's Deus Ex, and then there's Deus Ex Invisible War. Then there's Deus Ex Human Revolution. Deus Ex The Fall. Deus Ex Go, which it's mobile, so that doesn't count. And then Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So
all I remember, it was like $14.99. It looked like an action game. I was like, all right, bet. Let me just pick this up real quick and see what it's about. And then I get in there. Like you guys said, it felt super slow at the beginning. I feel like I just didn't.
Well, that was also a much smaller game. That's why it was priced differently. I remember when that game first came out, like its original price was somewhere around like the $30-$40 mark, as opposed to $60 with Human Revolution, which was like a big full-on like AAA title game.
Yeah, I played the original and Human Revolution, and yeah, I had a. It's right up my alley because
How
it's
did we
like
get onto this topic?
because it's they're comparing Cyberpunk 2077 to it. They're saying like
Oh, I can see
more
that.
like
Yeah,
that than let's say I don't know.
especially with like the cybernetic enhancements on the body and stuff, makes sense.
Yeah.
I sent it in the chat, but they someone managed to get a leaked copy of the map from Cyberpunk. I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, taken a look at it, and it's kind of what I was expecting. Like I was expecting something a little bit bigger, but then you got to keep in mind it's a city. You know what I mean? Like they said that they have a lot of like vertical exploration. You know, so it's going to be super duper compact, and you'll have like even though the map looks small. Well, I mean, in comparison to like The Witcher 3's map, you know what I mean? But
Yeah,
they also
yeah,
said that this game is supposed to be just a little bit shorter than The Witcher 3, because The
yeah.
Witcher 3 is a very long game, especially if you have all the DLC. It's like it's so long, which is
And I'm looking at
rewarding
the
in its
map
own right.
now. The thing
Yeah.
is yes, it's not as big as something like Fallout 4 or Witcher 3 or Red Dead Redemption 2, but maybe inside within these small areas, maybe it's very, very
Well, there's different levels, like they said. There's going to be
dense.
different levels of
Yeah, so
exploration.
there's more
So yeah.
compact. Maybe it's just more in a compact area because, for example, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a huge map, but you know when you go to the towns, they're pretty sparse, right? There's not that much
Yeah.
stuff to do in them. I mean, some of the bigger towns are, but like even the bigger towns, you can't go into like every single building. You know, there's a lot of buildings are closed off, and you can't go into them. So
I was actually thinking about it because they compared it to Novigrad from The Witcher 3, which is like a pretty big city. And it's also like quite compact, but compact in the way that like the what's that's set in the 1600s or the 1700s, you know what I mean? Like almost that like Victorian type era kind of houses, still quite compact. And I would get lost there frequently. So when I saw that like tie-in, I was like, dude, I'm going to get so lost in the city. But at the same time, I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to getting lost in the city, but I feel like I'm not going to get as lost because I'm going to have neon signs and maps everywhere, which is also going to be handy.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, my favorite part of these type of games like Fallout or whatever, where you get to explore different stuff and there's living, breathing characters within them, and you go on side quests because you ran into this one guy that told you about something you're very interested in. So though I don't know, and you make a good point about the levels, right? Because even though it's not as wide, but you're talking about top down, like maybe one building has 5, 6 different levels, and that's the equivalent of a much larger area if you spread it across.
Yeah, they said in one of their videos too, where it's like because of the like how vertical the exploration is within the city, you're gonna find like alleyways and tunnels and different like routes all the time. You're gonna find well, they call them shortcuts. Like you're gonna have to like go these long routes to certain places, and then eventually you're gonna find like a shortcut through a different way. So that's what I like about it. It seems like there's gonna be an emphasis on the exploration in the city. It'll be quite fun.
Yeah. All right. Another game that went gold as well is the Miles Morales Spider-Man, both for
Hell yeah.
PS5 and PS4. Dorian, I'm pretty sure you're hyped up for this one.
Yeah, I'm hyped up for it. I was not part of the contribution to make it go gold because I don't have a PS5 yet. So, I will be contributing and buying it. But, I'm excited to see the turnout thus far. And I'm definitely pumped to get it, whether that be on PS4 or PS5. Like, this is one of my most anticipated games of the back half of the year. So to see that people are already turning out for it, I'm pretty pumped to see the result.
Yeah, I got to still play Spider-Man. I'll probably stream on the channel once I start. I'll probably have to start early next week. I just had to. Right now, I'm playing. I can't say too much about it, but I'm playing The Walking Dead: Saints and Sinners on the Quest, which is coming out next week, and I'll have a review for that as well. But I've been playing that lately, so I got to do Spider-Man after that. Any thoughts, Josh?
I'm surprised. Yeah, like I feel like this is well, I mean, good for them. Like they're like I'm happy for them, but also considering when the game is coming out as opposed to Cyberpunk 2077, it's like still a fair amount of time away. So for them to have gone gold in terms of having like the disc the initial content ready, I'm very surprised. Very like if anything, I don't know if they're ahead of schedule or if this is exactly what they intended to be on schedule, but I figured maybe that they would start like getting the discs ready for distribution around like November, December, but to already get like, well, then again, because it's gone gold, but I don't know if they're going to start getting the distribution ready, because I know that that's Cyberpunk 2077. The fact that it's gold, they have to, like, especially because it's around the corner, they got to start getting distribution ready for their disc versions.
Yeah, but I mean, also going gold though in today's world is not as big a difference as in generations past, where going gold, you have it on most people were buying on disc, and then when you play them, it was very hard to do updates, and updates weren't very frequent because of the internet speed. Nowadays, I hope this isn't the case with either game, Cyberpunk or Miles Morales, but Fallout 76 literally had a day one patch that was basically you download the whole freaking game again. Like it didn't.
Oh wow!
Your disc was meaningless. Your disc was only basically a proof of purchase. You put it in, and then the update was bigger than the whole disc that you had. You know what I mean? Like so, it didn't really matter. That was, I hope Cyberpunk 2077 and Miles Morales don't go that route. I'm sure there'll be a day one patch. Most of these games do. But I'm hoping it is what patch actually means, update /
Dennis, you just gave me PTSD, Dennis, of like flashbacks from like 2007, where I would have to like go physically with a flash drive or a hard drive, go to a game store to get an update for a game because of how bad the internet is in South Africa. If there was like an update to the PS3 software, I would have to take my flash drive to like a GameStop, and they would have to put the update on my flash drive, take it home, update it. Same with games. If there was an update,
that's hilarious.
I know. I was like, I just wanted to blow your mind there for a second, Dorian. That's at a certain point in time, a lot of people had to do that.
Wow, man, could not relate.
For years.
Hell no. I mean, that's love though. You love what you do. You love gaming, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see that. I think the day one patch for Miles Morales will just be a update on Peter Parker. Hopefully they'll just like, all right, we heard your complaints. We're gonna make him a little bit older. That's all I care about. Like that was the only issue I really like, and it wasn't even a big issue for me, but just make him older. So hopefully that's
just give the guy some wrinkles or something, man.
Yeah,
give him
like been through some
crow's
shit.
feet or shit, man. He looks 14.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next topic. This one you guys probably have more to say because you guys play the demos for this, which is Outriders has been delayed to 2021. They want to support cross-play experience and offer a free next-gen upgrade. So originally it was going to come out this holiday season, but they said due to COVID-19 and all the delays that happened with that it's pretty much complete, but they want to kind of polish everything up, plus add all this support as well. What do you guys think about this? I know you guys were very high on this game.
Yeah, honestly, I'm fine with it. I feel like they haven't been doing really to any marketing or like letting people know ahead of time, like, hey, get ready for Outriders or anything like that. Like if you were me or Josh, you had it on your radar, you like kind of expected it. But besides that, like this would probably fly below the radar for most of the average consumer. So I'm fine with it. I personally I'm glad they're pushing it back and making sure it's all polished, because I truly did enjoy the little bit of time that we did get to play. And I think our footage is on the channel. You can see it now, but I enjoyed what we got to play with, and I'm definitely pumped for it. And like I said again last time, like push it back if you have to. COVID, we understand. 2020 is a shit show. Like I'm not in any rush. People's pockets are hurting. So if they feel like they need to push it back a few months just to ensure that it's good for all platforms, including like the next generation and the current generation, then that's fine with me. Like this news really didn't like bother me at all. I think they're making the right move.
Josh?
Dude, I'm sad. But after what Dorian said, it's like I'm one of the only people that's going to be sad because I got to play the game.
Like there was a handful of people, we got influencers and a select few people that actually got to play it ahead of time, and it looked like I would think it was ready to go right then.
Yeah, dude, it was just like
amazing.
The biggest takeaway was that it was just fun, and it was addictive fun. It was like, dude, I love any kind of looter shooter or any game that involves like grinding and getting loot and better stuff, and like especially like I think of like Diablo. Like IGN literally called this game Mass Effect meets Diablo, in the sense of like the whole looter shooter aspect, which makes sense to me. But dude, I'm like, I'm just sad. It's such a fun game. It's such an addictive game. I'm so excited to play it. The best part about the game is that people can just hop in and out. Like you don't have to like be a dedicated team of 3 people. Your buddy can just hop in. If he sees you online, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna hop in real quick with Dorian. Go shoot some people in for 5 minutes and then leave. You know, it doesn't. It's so casual how people can dip in and out of the game, which is what I love. I will say this though, I am incredibly happy that they have offered a free up. I don't even think that was necessary. That's so nice of them to give you the free upgrade option, considering that it would be like 2 or 3 months after the release of the next gen consoles. Like I see a lot of people doing that before the time, but I don't see a lot of companies saying, hey, next year you can buy yourself the PS4 version of this game and get the PS5 version for free. I don't know anyone who's going to be doing that besides these people. But then again, who is the other developer tied to this? They were so incredibly friendly. It was People Can Fly, or
yeah, People Can Fly.
Dude, they were so friendly.
Yeah, they were they were dope.
Yeah.
They were dope as hell, and
They're very kind.
Like Josh said, I think the only people that are going to be sad about this are the people that got their hands on it, because thankfully I think they made the right decision. I think they were already like, once COVID started hitting, I think they already were like, all right, let's not even market this. Let's not do anything, because I haven't seen any buzz whatsoever. So I think
since February, dude.
They made the right call. I think they made the right call indeed, just to, 2 more months than it would, like they were going to do
February 2nd.
So, I think they'll do a good job with it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I didn't play it like you guys, but I think it's the right move. February 2nd is the new release date. One, because look, you guys played it. You guys got me more hyped for it because I didn't really know about it. But like you said, most people, the general audience, isn't hyped for it because they just don't know about it, and they haven't really started any campaigning. So, and now you have all the, you have Cyberpunk 2077 coming out. You have Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming out. You have the PS5, you have the Xbox Series X, you have all these big things. Quest 2 is coming out next week. You have all these things to compete with attention-wise from the general gaming audience, and you're bringing a new franchise. This isn't a franchise that's already been established. It's a new franchise. I know Cyberpunk 2077 is a new franchise, but one, it's riding off the back of CD Projekt Red and their hype from Witcher 3, and everyone knows about that game. People don't know about Outriders, and kind of being able to have a big game like this come out in February when maybe there's not that much competition. I think that can only be a good thing.
I mean, the only competition it would have is a lot of JRPGs or a lot of like Japanese released games. They tend to pick that February slot because of Golden Week that they have in Japan. So that would be its only, like, I don't know any big games that are slotted for that time slot anyways, you know what I mean? Dude, man, I just want people that, like, I really think that one of the best things they can do about this game is if they had to release, like, just if they released a demo like next month, dude, or like an open beta, that would literally,
open beta would kill.
It would do all the marketing for them, hands down, because that's how fun and addictive it is. And because of the I don't know what the rules were to the NDA or the embargo that we signed, so I can't talk too much about the story, but I will say the story is intriguing enough to keep you going. Like, the game isn't just fun combat all the time, which is, I'm most excited about the combat and the fun addictiveness of the game, but the story is intriguing enough to keep you going as well. Like, it's a good, intriguing story about space colonizers and something messes up. That's all I can say.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to a bunch of smaller news here. We've got the Fall Guys Season 2 launch trailer. I've never played this game, but seeing everyone's reaction to it is love-hate. It's like people hate it, but they keep playing it. What do you guys think about this Season 2 coming up?
I mean, I didn't watch the trailer because I refused to give any more attention to the Fall Guys. So, I have no comment.
When was the last time you played it?
The last time you saw me play it. Whenever whenever, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I've been forced to. I'm gonna play it next week because somebody's called me out, and I'm gonna play it next week. So that's going to be the next time I play it. But besides that, yeah, I haven't.
I'll join you.
Yeah, Josh, please.
Yeah, it sounds like Fall Guys and Among Us are the two kind of games that people seem to love and hate at the same time.
Dude, I'm excited for this, honestly, just because of because my biggest issue with the game, considering how addictive it is, you play it so often, you get so tired of those levels. And now it's like they added 4 extra levels, and they've added a lot of like stuff that I think makes the game even less skill based, if that makes sense, even more dumb luck, which I like that. And then there are some skill based stuff. Like I saw there's like in one of the parts of the trailer, there's like a platform people are running on and somebody else grabbed it and moved the platform while people were on it. So I was like, there's so much more opportunities to troll, which means more opportunities for Dorian to get really angry, which is fantastic. But I'm excited for it. Also the costumes, it looks good. I was grinding the last day of the previous season, just trying to finish the battle pass, but it's so difficult. Like, I mean, to level up in the battle pass sometimes. I'm looking forward to it. Funny enough, the thing that I'm enjoying the most about this, and no one talks about these, like not even like IGN, Kotaku, PC Gamer, it's the fact that like some of the things in the game have names. Like previously, they had the base maps, and then they added these like swinging hammers to eliminate more people, so that just to add more obstacles. And they called the big hammer the big Yeetus. And I love that they called it the big Yeetus. So now they've got this giant swinging like stick with spikes attached to it, and they're gonna call it, oh, I love this, the thick bonkus. And that's thick with 2 C's. The thick bonkus. I don't know, man.
They might have just got me back as a fan just because of that name.
The thick bonkus, dude. I love it, man. The big Yeetus and the thick bonkus. I just love their naming strategies. And then it is worth, I know it's not in the breakdown, but it is worth saying that there is like a limited mode that they're offering where if you don't enjoy the team-based modes in Fall Guys, there's like a gauntlet that you can do. It's only temporary, but it's only races. So there's no multiplayer functions added. And the fact that they say only races makes me believe that there's no tail tag or jinx. And I hate those levels. So it just seems fun. Like it's more straightforward and like less like, I don't know. I'm not explaining it, but I think that that's going to do quite well. I'm looking forward to that.
First, I thought you said racist, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm definitely not going to be playing Fall Guys Season 2 then."
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. We've got the Apex Legend update 1.47, but the biggest thing of note on that is it's adding crossplay. So finally, people can play across different platforms: PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and whatnot. Plus, there's some other stuff in there. Dorian, why don't you tell us about it?
So the new update, basically, like they changed a couple of things with the Legends, just a couple of simple mods around the Legends, nothing too drastic. But the major thing, like you said, is the crossplay component, because that's one of the biggest things like people have been wanting for a while when it comes to Apex. So this is just the beta right now. They haven't like said like this is official, it's going to stay around, but have tested it out for a little bit. And that I think I personally feel like it's been able to like I've been able to jump in games faster, and I've noticed that a lot more when it comes to ranked. Usually like with ranked, you're like sitting there, depends on the day or the time, but like usually you'll sit there for a good couple minutes before you get a ranked match. But with this one, especially with the crossplay component, I've been jumping into more games, and it's been cool kind of see like now, because with Fortnite, you know, when I play Fortnite a little bit now, like you can see which console or which device somebody's playing from. So they're doing the same type of thing with Apex, where it'll be like, oh, this one's playing with PC, this one's playing with Xbox or PS4. So enjoying that type of aspect of it, so I can see like, oh, if I'm getting a person playing with the PlayStation or Xbox or a different console. But for the most part, I haven't really played on a team with other people that have been outside of like the PC. Like I've noticed like a couple times I've got a match with a player that's playing on a different console, but for the most part on my end, I've just been playing with PC players. But I'm just excited to see what it does, because now I feel like I don't know. I feel like I don't need to switch back to my PS4. Like I've just been set on the PC now, and since I've like leveled up on this, I think I'm just going to stay with the PC. But I'm in a weird spot because I use the controller. I use a controller, but you know, I'm using PC, but I don't have the push to talk. I have it with push to talk. So it's like, if I want to talk to my teammate, I have to hold the controller. Let me use an example. I have to hold the controller like this and then like press T to talk to the teammate, which causes me mess up sometimes. So still got to adapt to that.
You can set it to,
I know I don't like having it to, I don't like having
not to be open, but to pick up sensitivity instead.
Oh, real talk?
So like kind of like Discord, where I'm pretty sure you can. So instead of having it completely open, if you talk, it'll pick up that you're talking and it'll go through.
Man, I got a low ass voice though, so I don't know if it'll register with me. But
if you're for streaming, Dorian, I recommend that in game in Apex, you set your microphone to a separate microphone than the one that you're using through OBS, if that makes sense. Like I use the microphone on my webcam for video games when I'm talking to people that I don't know. If that makes sense.
True. Need to do that. But yeah, besides that, that's really the that's all the news I have for Apex. I've just been trying to do the crossplay mode, but I'm just excited that they're leveling up, like upgrading. Doesn't feel like it's getting stagnant. The game feels like it's constantly evolving, constantly getting better. Your boy's constantly getting better. Josh is getting better. We're gonna become Apex pros one day. It's a matter of time. But yeah, but I'm just glad
Dorian got me hooked again last week,
Yeah,
and
dude,
it's
it's
like
a fun game.
I don't know, out of nowhere, like the bug, man, like the bug hit me again. It was like the first week Apex came out. Like I just want to play it. But Dorian, I don't know if you know this, but as well as the you okay there?
Yeah, somebody's knocking on either my door or the neighbor's door.
All right. They are nerfing Wraith. They're nerfing Wraith.
Good. I don't use her.
I know, but I'm kind of sad about this nerf because Wraith has the way she sprints. She Naruto runs. She Naruto runs, and it's the coolest freaking thing. But because she Naruto runs, she's a bit like hunched over. So they had to change the running animation because she's lower, therefore the hitbox is smaller. So to make it fair, they had to get rid of the animation so that she's not as short when running, so that she's easier to hit. So people are pissed about that because the animation does look sick. It's freaking Naruto running. But I get that it's all in the name of fairness of the game,
I didn't even think about that, but now that you mentioned it, like I would see, like, especially if I'm shooting at a Wraith or something, I could see that being like, giving them a little bit of advantage. So that makes sense. But at the end of the day, I'm glad. I've been trying to mainly just main with Mirage, but also Revenant. I've been trying to add him to my game, as you know, because when we do competitive play, I try to add value to the team. Mirage doesn't really do anything for the team himself, but Revenant does. So I've been trying to use Revenant. And interesting enough, I have been trying to use Wraith a little bit, but I just suck when it comes to creating those teleporting portals. Like when you add the sprint into it, I'm just like, oh man, I might as well have not even used the ultimate. It only got us like 5 feet. So I still need to work on that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me with the update. Me and Josh might play by a little bit of time, but yeah, that's pretty much it on the Apex side of things.
Cool. Also, Valorant Act 3 had a trailer. I know, Josh, you're big into Valorant. Why don't you tell us about this Act 3, this new map and Agent Sky abilities?
Well, we don't know anything about the new map, as far as I know. Like I try to find some leaks, or as far as I could see, I couldn't see any. But I'm always happy that they add a new map. I'm glad that it's not like they're adding multiple maps. I think it's a good idea for them to only like add a map every season or so, because it takes a lot of time, at least in the beginning, for you to memorize certain angles. And it's a very like strategic game. So you got to know all your angles, all your corners, all your blind spots. So I like that they're rolling out the maps, with each season. And then it could get to a point where I can see them getting rid of maps because there might be like too many at a later, but that's like at a much later point. Very excited for the new agent, actually more so than the previous one, because I feel like this one suits my play style more personally. She's got a killer Australian accent, like hardcore Australian accent. And she is shredded, bro. This chick has got like biceps for days. Like she is shredded. It's crazy. Like she intimidates me. She could beat the absolute crap out of me. Like she could probably beat up most people generally. Like it's sick. So I think, hold on, I got a slight character breakdown here for her. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So she's an Australian forest guardian who travels with a very small magical petting zoo, which I like because they go through her abilities. They show the abilities in the new trailer, which is sick, by the way. I love the trailer. It comes with like a slight animation with regards to her background. She's a healer, so she's got 4 abilities like all the other characters in the game. But in the trailer, they only show 3 of the abilities. I've watched it 4 or 5 times trying to find the other one, which is. And it's the one that they don't show in the trailers that I'm most excited about, was because her abilities involve her basically summoning these like, well, I guess they call them pets, if you will, but you know what I mean? Like either a hawk or in this case, a Tasmanian devil. She can deploy a Tasmanian devil that like blows up upon impact or something. I'm not too sure how it works because they didn't show it. She has another function where she has an eagle that she literally sends forward, and wherever, like, the eagle will shoot forward and it'll blind enemies in the area. And if it successfully blinds someone, it'll actually give you a notification, which is great because a lot of the other characters have abilities to blind people, but you don't know if you successfully blinded them or not, unless you can see the glow around their face. But you're not going to peek around that corner unless you're sure. So at least with her, you get the notification to know, okay, they're blinded. I can go guns blazing. I don't have to worry. She has another ability, which is let's see that. Yeah, so that's the Hawk, the Tasmanian Devil. She has a healing ability, which is like huge radius. When she activates it, it's this huge radius, and all of her teammates within the radius get healed too. Considering how big the radius is, I'm going to assume that the healing is pretty slow. It's got to be, because they're giving you a lot of like, they're just giving her a lot of space. Like you can still be pretty far away from your teammate and heal them. That's how big that circle is. So I'd imagine the healing is going to be quite slow. But then her ultimate ability, and this is what surprised me the most, her ultimate ability is an ability that was actually already in the game. In the Spike Rush mode, there's this mode where there's orbs all over the map and you can pick them up and they'll do different things like get you a better gun, give you the golden gun, which is one shot, one kill, or to like give your team healing or give the enemy team decay, so debuffs and buffs. But one of the things you could get for the longest time since like the beginning was this orb you pick up, and it's like a wolf symbol. And when you pick it up, these two like wolf heads, like ghost wolf heads, kind of go out and they'll actually track the enemy players. So you can follow these little ghost heads. So you can go like follow them and find the people. And if it hits them, they are like, I think, stunned or blinded, but you have the ability to shoot them. Everyone can see it. So if you see the little ghost head crawling up to you, you can shoot it before it gets you, but it gives away your location. So they basically turn that into her ultimate ability, except it's three of them. Like three of them will spread out and it'll show you where they'll hunt down the enemy players. So it's easier for them to spot them. So I wonder if in the future, that's how they're going to test out other possible abilities for other upcoming characters. Because like I said, this is an ability that's been in the game since the beginning, since they released Spike Rush. So obviously, like, they've been testing it for a while, and they know it works, which is why it's her ultimate. So I think they're going to do that again in the future. All in all, I'm excited to get into it. I'm probably going to buy her because I'm too lazy to unlock her. I'm too excited to play with her. I've still got a whiles to wait. I believe that Act 3 starts in 3 days from now, but you can only get the character on the 27th at the end of the month. So you'll still have to wait like an extra week or two just to be able to play the character. But the next battle pass that begins in 3 days, I'll probably be picking up the battle pass just because, I don't know, I'm spending so much time in the game, I may as well. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you guys, both of you guys, a more general question, because you guys are more up into kind of these free-to-play online competitive games. You know, we all know Fortnite is king, right? How is all these, because it's starting to get very saturated, wouldn't you say? Like you've got the Apex Legends, you've got Valorant, we have Hyperscape, we have what else? Who am I missing? I'm missing someone else.
I'm glad you also
Call of Duty Warzone. Yeah. So those are the biggest ones. How is each one faring? Because obviously play PUBG as well. So like how is each off, yeah. I know, but that's what I'm saying. Is like who's going up, down, who's maintaining, what's going on with the popularity of all these different ones, because it's just getting too saturated right now.
I have a hot take on this. Well, not a hot take, if you don't mind, Dorian.
Go
just
for
like, because I have actually been. This question is something that I've been asking myself every time they announce a new free-to-play battle royale game, or just a free-to-play. Like Valorant isn't a battle royale. The only competition Valorant has is CS:GO. Except CS:GO doesn't have power, so it is a different. The reason why I can see Valorant doing, like, I don't see it getting more popular than it already is, but I can see it consistently doing what it's doing right now for the longest time, because there isn't anything else like it. You know, they've taken elements from Overwatch and elements from CS:GO and put it together.
Yeah, Overwatch is another one. You know.
Yeah, but then when you look at Overwatch, you got to pay for.
Yeah,
Overwatch isn't free. Yeah,
I guess, but I guess I mean more of this kind of online competition, multiplayer.
Well, Dennis, like you said, the market is saturated, because I've played so many free-to-play battle royale games that have just disappeared, lost their servers, or just completely removed from like the Steam store. You know what I mean? I think another game, like, I love this game, and this is actually a great game, which is Darwin Project. It's a battle royale game where there's only 10 people. It's more survival based. You got to make sure that you don't die from cold. You got to keep yourself warm, build little forest fires. It's a bit more survival orientated. That game's different because there's a host. There's actually like an 11th player who basically flies around as a robot, and he's like kind of like the Hunger Games judge, where he's like, you know what, I'm going to give you good stuff and I'm going to give you bad stuff, and he kind of gets to play like a dungeon master, if you will, at that point. And even that game like got super popular with streamers like a year or two ago, then fell off. Dude, Hyperscape fell off so bad. I was so hyped to play that game. No one's playing that game. Dude, no one's playing the game. Like they announced season 2. No one cares. No one cares. Call of Duty Warzone is currently right now, Dennis, more than 250 gigs if you want to play it. Who the hell is going to have 250 gigs dedicated on their console or PC just for Warzone? You know, even if it's free. That's crazy. That's still doing well because you got the competitions and you got the prize pools. But even then, I see it. Dude, we're in such an incredibly fast evolving like line of work. Like, dude, like how big did freaking Among Us blow up recently to the point where everyone's forgotten about all the other previous games? You know what I mean? It's scary how fast things move to this point.
Who do you think's number 2 or 3 right now after Fortnite?
Okay, well, yeah, Fortnite's I'd say still number 1. And then I'd say number 2 is Warzone, just because there's prize pools are huge. Like they're doing constant competitions with huge winnings that you can make. And then after that, I would have to say, once in free-to-play battle royale, it would have to be Apex, because there's just consecutively crushing it. I like it because it's faster. It's a bit faster paced. You know what I mean? Like Fortnite is this like you can play it casually, you can play it seriously. It has its own elements of building. Apex is just a straight up like battle royale with powers. Like also, once again, I can't compare it to anything else because there is nothing else like that, and it's got great movement because of the Titanfall series. You know what I mean? Like they've honed that for a long time. But yeah, I'd have to say Fortnite. Unfortunately, Warzone. I hate the game currently. And then Apex, which I'm loving currently. And then I don't know.
Where does Overwatch fit in all this? I know it's not free to play, but it's competitively. Where does that fit in
I don't
know. Today's current
like,
climate?
I feel like Overwatch is in its own little niche.
It has its own league. Its league is very popular. Like,
and it's not. When I say niche, I don't mean like it's a big ass game, but I feel like the people like me. I used to love Overwatch, but I fell off from it a lot. I haven't played it in a minute. Like I bought it a couple months ago on PC, and I even forgot I had it on PC because I haven't played it in so long. But when it comes to like Apex, I feel like it's Apex is if we're looking at all of them, I feel like Apex is the one that's like a good role player. Like it knows what it's doing. And it's just going to keep doing that consistently, not try to like divvy it up or like try to throw new things at you. Just like, it'll build new things. And then if they add something that the players don't like, then they'll take it out or they'll like listen to feedback. So I think Apex is like a good middleman. Is like, they're doing what they have to do. They're not trying to like take down anybody. They're just, doing what they got to do. And as far as like,
it's also got the best pacing. Don't
you
think?
Yeah, it does, bro.
Like in terms of like, because dude, there are times where I play other battle royale games where it's just like, there's no action for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then you bump into action and you're just so unprepared for it. With Apex, I mean, yeah, you get some dry times. Me and you get some dry areas, but for the most part, it's pretty steady action. Like there's a good pace to it, a good flow to it. You know what I mean? Like I like it. And the maps aren't too like they're big, but they're not like huge. Like I think the Warzone map is a bit too big. Personally, I don't know. There's a lot of issues I have with that stuff. But
I never played Warzone, but I remember playing Blackout, and like I remember those maps are way too big. And I was
kind of enjoyed Blackout more personally.
Really, I spent like 5-10 minutes. 15 minutes just like wandering around by myself and not running into a single soul and then dying. And then I was like, okay, I'm not. I
just love the Easter egg they had in that. Whereas like I think there was a basketball in the game, and they didn't tell anyone this, but if you found the basketball and you threw it at someone, it was an instant kill. If you could actually hit them with the basketball, that is. It was very difficult, but if you could, it would be instant kill, which is hilarious.
I feel like a year from now, we'll be talking about this. Fortnite will probably still be number 1, but I feel like
Apex will still be around too, bro.
Yeah, Apex will still be around, but then what newcomer may have taken another spot, or is Warzone going to be as popular as it still is?
I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to say that Hyperscape is going to shut down its servers this time next year, or even sooner.
I just pulled it up just to look at the views. So like if we're just counting by popularity on Twitch, Fortnite over 200,000 viewers right now. Apex Legends sitting at a good 30,000. Nothing too special. Warzone at 80,000. Then you have Overwatch at 50,000. I want y'all two don't look, but guess how many people are on Hyperscape right now? Just give me a guess, please. I want to
500.
2,000.
Between Dennis is closer by
No ways.
Yes, Dennis is closer by
Less than 2,000.
Less than 2,000. Dennis, go up. Give me one more guess. Closer to what you just said, Dennis.
800.
You got to go 100 views down.
Wow.
Yeah,
700.
Dude,
700 people on Twitch right now.
Yeah.
That's globally. That's scary, dude.
Yeah, and then we have Valorant sitting at 55,000 viewers.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
then Among Us with whopping 400,
like 100 and something,
403,000.
Crazy.
That's
crazy.
And then some game called Just Chatting. I don't know what that is.
Wait. This is a perfect segue into our next topic, which is Phasmophobia, which me and Dorian played for the first time with Mark last night. And for people who don't know, this is kind of like a new sensation. I don't know how long this will last, but anyways, it's a co-op ghost hunting game. It's very indie. It's technically not the finished. It's an early access. You pay for it, you play it, and then I guess next year they'll have the full-on release. It's a great concept. In terms of execution, it is an indie game, so you can't expect that much. But you team up with up to 4 people. You go to a house and you go search for ghosts, and you can do stuff like say the ghost name to try and bring it out, and then slowly the ghost, if you don't do the right things, the ghost will kill each person. It's creepy, but it's definitely not polished. I think the controls, is probably the biggest issue. There's a lot of times when I was playing last night where it was like, where am I? Like, I'm in a house. I know I'm in a house, but like literally it's like so dark, and then like you're just moving around, and you get a lot of nausea, seasickness from playing this game. I know Dorian had a lot of experience with that last night.
I want to say this was the first VR game that's ever made me nauseous. Like, and I've been doing VR for a couple of years now, I want to say, but this one, for some reason, it's just, I don't know what it was, man. Like, I think like you said, it was a cool concept, and I definitely want to give it a try again, maybe. Like, and I didn't stand, and this was the first time I was sitting there like using VR trying to communicate with you guys. But it took me a little while to adjust, but yeah, just your boy threw up. It made me nauseous. And also, I don't like scary shit on top of that. So I think there was something in the back of my head. It was like always like Dennis was hiding behind a door on accident, and he popped up and scared the hell out of me. So I don't know, like VR is my shit, but horror VR definitely not for me. I definitely do want to do the Five Nights at Freddy's thing once we get closer to Halloween. But besides that, no, I want to try this Phasmophobia again, like give it another try. You and Mark, maybe Josh, because you can do co-op with computers as well. They don't have to be in VR. So definitely want to give it a try again. But yeah, it was a lot, but it was an experience.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things, much like how Fall Guys and Among Us or whatever just kind of came out of nowhere and suddenly it was big and popular. They said that Steam had 70,000 concurrent players. That was a peak on October 8th. We'll see how long this lasts. This is a game I do feel like, because it's not fully released yet, and there are definitely some issues in terms of gameplay, that I don't know how long this popularity will last. Unlike, Fall Guys or Among Us, where it's pretty smooth. This is definitely a work in progress, but a great concept.
Yeah, and I want to, since I've only played it once, and I've only played it in VR, so definitely want to see what it's like just on the PC mode, and see if it makes my experience any better or any different or anything like that. And it'd be interesting to see if and when they make the final version, if they're going to make a quest version, because I think this is where the game will really succeed. Like, I get horror stuff on the PC and doing a co-op with your friends, but the immersive experience that I did feel, although it did make me nauseous, I think I'm going to enjoy that better than just playing it directly on the PC. So if I was them, I definitely, before the Quest 2 comes out or when it comes out or whatever, like, make sure that it's ported properly over to the Quest, so it's accessible for more than
having behind the scenes dealings with Oculus. I know that they're very strict on their what they allow in the Quest store, and so definitely the game as is would never make it. Just because I mean the frame. I have a pretty decent graphics card. It's not the best, but it's a RTX 2060. Josh has the same one, and the game just the frame rate's not, even with all that, the frame rate isn't very high, the resolution isn't very high, the motion, you know what I mean, like it's not taking advantage of any of that stuff. It's very, very let's just say indie. So if it stays popular and the full release is very successful and they want to port to Quest, they're gonna have to put a lot of work into it. So but has a lot of potential. I think it's a lot of fun, and I feel like it can be a template for many other it doesn't have to be so much just for horror games. You can do this template for many different types of games as well. So have you heard of Phasmophobia, Josh?
Yeah, actually, I saw there was a lot of hype around it. Like a lot of usually when I go on either Twitch or YouTube, I follow a lot of streamers, and they'll have their like streams announced a day or two before the time with a countdown. And I saw a lot of streamers were like having had a countdown to play Phasmophobia, and I had heard nothing about it, but it kept popping up everywhere. And I was looking into it, and I mean, price wise, it's not too bad. It's $14, you know.
Mm-hmm.
$14 if for something that is a little rough around the edges, like you said, is not too shabby. I think the weekly, it did really blow up over Twitch, like you said, because I think they said on average its weekly viewers on average was about 80,000, and at certain points it was getting more viewers than Call of Duty Warzone and Genshin Impact, which is another game I'm going to talk about just now, because that's Genshin Impact was a huge release, that just massive release recently that went over everyone's heads from China.
So every time I load up a IGN video, it's just, that's the commercial for
Genshin Impact
pre-roll. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, I'll bring it up just now. I haven't played it yet, but it's just, I think it's worth mentioning because I think it had like 5.3 million pre-registered users before the game even came out. Mm-hmm. It's like a huge global launch. We'll talk about that later though.
Okay. So yeah, Phasmophobia. Yeah, I think a lot of good potential. Hopefully their full release is much more smoothed out, and maybe with the success they can get investors to shore up the game, because it definitely needs some polishing there, so people like me and Dorian don't get sick, because Dorian got sick and I was like right there. That's why we had to stop last night. I was like nope, that's it, man. That's it. Yeah, I gotta. Yeah. All right. Let's move on. There's a bunch of other small stuff like Mortal Kombat 11 as part of their Combat Pack 2. They're gonna have John Rambo, Melina, and Rain. I like how Ed Boon had put out a tweet, basically kind of making fun of himself, saying, "For the last time, Melina is not coming to MK11," and then she's in this back. Also, Rain, which is the character that's inspired by Prince's Purple Rain, and then obviously John Rambo. I like those. I love these kind of tongue-in-cheek, kind of funny trailers that they have for these new characters, because it's like really kind of absurd how these characters come into the Mortal Kombat world that don't really fit, right? Like RoboCop, Spawn, John Rambo, but they just make it work because they kind of take it semi-serious, but at the same time kind of, poking fun at it
at this point they're just like, you know what, everybody knows what Mortal Kombat is now. Ed Boon hasn't fully leaned into the social media community and just like, embraced it. So I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while, but I gotta say this Rambo trailer got me kind of excited, especially for Melina and Rain as well. Like that's one of the biggest things. Like everybody since the beginning, I remember when I originally first got Mortal Kombat 11, like everybody was like, where's Melina? Where the fuck is Melina? So we got her. So definitely want to give it a try and get these new characters. And I'm definitely like, got to crack back open. I actually turned on the Xbox for the first time last week. Got a whatchamacallit, Doom Eternal installed. I'm going to play that.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to hear what you think. I mean, I played it. You and me both played it at E3 a year and a half ago, and I had a lot of fun playing with it. I haven't got Game Pass yet, but I eventually will. It'll just depend on when I plan on getting the Xbox Series X. Also, when their exclusive games come out, like when are they dropping? Once Halo Infinite, when they have that release date, probably right before then is probably when I'll get.
I look forward to the day we can be like, all right, this Xbox exclusive game has gone gold because it's they got one. So I'm looking forward to the day we can talk about that on the podcast.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about some trailers. We got the NBA 2K21. It was a next gen console trailer, and we had the NHL. NHL 21. I haven't, I'm a hockey fan, but I haven't bought a hockey game in a while because I prefer the 2K series to the EA series. But the thing that the EA series is doing, and they're doing for UFC and Madden and all the NBA and all that stuff is, well, NBA 2K, not EA, but they're all doing these like story career modes. And for someone like me who is much more into these story-driven stuff, this is what hooks me in. And so for the NHL 21, they have a be a pro mode, much like the UFC's career mode. And that stuff is like, it's RPG story, like where you're upgrading your character, getting him skill points, doing storylines. And so the NHL 21 one made me at least consider getting a new hockey game, which I haven't in a while. And as far as the NBA 2K21 trailer, man, those graphics look sick, man. That's like next gen graphics right there. It looks real. The shit looks real.
I was gonna say the skin and the sweat looks super real, but what disappointed me was that because of how real the graphics looked, it gave more attention to some of the janky animations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, which is, it's going to be difficult to really nail those at like walking, like how to like not look weird when walking, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I don't know, for me, like it was, because it was so realistic, it just, the animation stood out more for me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and their facial expressions, or like their lack of, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, also leaning more towards NHL, and they put something in the NHL game that I kind of wish they put in UFC 3, which is the fact that in UFC 3 and 4, which is the fact that you're getting this huge online following, you're like pulling in massive amounts of money, but you don't get to spend the money. In NHL, it's like you can buy a house, you can buy a watch. You can spend your millions of dollars, man. I like that. I'm like, why in UFC 4 can I not buy myself $1 million house with my money?
That's because UFC fighters don't get paid shit.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, unless you're one of the top guys like Connor, Israel Adesanya, George Masvidal, or whatever, like you're getting peanuts compared to other sports leagues.
Really?
Well, that's where they need it.
And you're risking your life.
Yeah, fuck no. I'm not getting my ass beat on camera for chump change.
Yeah. I mean, the big guys, even big dogs get a lot of money, but
even if the average get paid though,
dude, the average UFC fighter, because you have to pay your training camp and all that stuff, you got to pay a lot of different things. The average UFC fighter makes less than the average working person. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jokes, bro. Hell no.
Yeah.
Well, Dennis, I will say this, in the NHL thing, they do give you those different choices you can go to, and some of them involve you getting external brand deals, which is something that I would have also liked to see in that whole superstar version of UFC 3 and also in UFC 4 that they expanded on. It's like, it's so true. If you're going to gain yourself like 2 million followers on Instagram, you're going to get brand deals. You know what I mean?
So for our last few things, we've got Resident Evil, the origin story reboot. They've cast a bunch of different actors. You can take a look at Kaya Scodelario. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. From Maze Runner as Clara Redfield. Hannah John Kamen, who's from Ant-Man and the Wasp, as Jill Valentine. Robbie Amell as Chris Redfield. Tom Hopper as Albert Wesker. And Avan Jogaya from Zombieland Double Tap as Leon S. Kennedy, and Neil McDonough as William Birkin. So this is interesting just because we have so many Resident Evil stuff going on. We get the Netflix series, and then we have there's an animated, I think, movie that's also going to be on Netflix, and now you have this origin movie. And then also we have Blair Witch, the game is going to be on Oculus. I remember the VR version. I remember the game coming out on PC, and now they have a Quest version that I'm very interested in checking out. Game of Thrones, the board game digital edition, which is more up my alley because a lot of people play board games nowadays, but I'm like, wary of just having that stuff in the house. And then you also have to get people to come over and play versus playing online digitally. And this one I'm very excited about, which is Sega's next micro console. They just released the mini Genesis, I think last year. This may be one of my favorite consoles of all time, the Dreamcast Mini. So I'm interested in seeing that. Which one of these news things kind of appeals to you, Dorian?
Just because we're in spooky season, I'm kind of excited, and we've been doing VR. I'm kind of excited for this Blair Witch because I didn't play the original game, and I hate horror things. But when it comes to me jumping into VR, for the content, I'm willing to risk it all. So I'm excited to get my hands onto that. But also, I'm excited for the excuse me. I'm excited for this this mini console because ever since I watched that console wars, man, I've just been Team Sega. I just want to get any type of Sega thing I can get now. I don't know, like I know it's been a long time ago, but for me this history is new to me now. So I'm Team Sega, like F Nintendo. Like I'm ride or die with them right now. Just kidding, all our Nintendo fans, because I know y'all are out there. But yeah, I'm excited for the Sega.
Josh.
Actually, that's actually also the one thing that stood out to me most is I'm most excited for the Sega. The mini Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
It also really, I know that there are third-party versions of what I'm about to say available, but I really do want a mini N64 at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can get them third-party, but develop third-party. But I want like an official one, which would be sick.
Yeah,
it's time for Sega to make a comeback, bro. Yeah. It's time. Throwback. Like everybody's revisiting nostalgia things, like using nostalgia as a way to market things. So,
they have great IP. They aren't doing anything with them. They have Sega. So much great IP. We're talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. You're talking about Daytona. You're talking about Golden Axe. You're talking about Streets of Rage.
Golden Axe is sick, man.
You're talking about Altered Beast. You're talking about Afterburner. You're talking like they have a big, huge library of IP that just never, after the kind of Genesis, Dreamcast era, just never, they haven't really gone anywhere other than Sonic. They've been making a lot of Sonic games.
2021, I'm putting it out there. Sega taking over gaming consoles, bro.
Yeah, or the rumors of Xbox buying Sega. Let's see if that comes out to be true in the future. Yeah, so I guess that's it for this episode. Before we go, I know.
Hold up. If we got the time, I got a couple of extra things I want to add, but I'm going to blast through them the way you did as well. Super quick. MSI had to put out a statement apologizing because one of their subsidiary companies got caught scalping graphics cards on eBay, which is insane. Yeah. So I thought real quick bring that up. Worth mentioning because I think it did very well on YouTube. They did a full PS5 teardown on the PlayStation channel where they completely took apart the PS5, showing you everything about it. It's sick. I'm excited for customization because they show you how those white panels on the side of the PS5, they slide off so easily. So like the amount of customization that's going to have is sick. Like people taking the covers off and like hydro dipping them in like cool patterns and stuff. I'm looking forward to that. That's not worth it. You'll like this, Dennis. So Microsoft has found a workaround to get the xCloud onto iOS in 2021, which is using it through a direct browser-based solution. So kind of like a slight loophole there. Worth bringing up. NVIDIA delays the launch of the RTX 3070 to October 29, so that you can actually buy one. Because the sales right now are crazy. They don't have enough graphics cards. So they're delaying it purely just so that more people have an opportunity to actually order it and buy it. Tencent, huge company. We all know Tencent. Tencent just bought a major stake in the developer of GTFO. I'm not too sure what that means, but apparently the studio was actually looking for a partner to help them out with marketing and stuff. So it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. I mentioned this earlier, but on the RTX 3090, you can run Crysis 3 entirely just on that graphics card off of its VRAM alone, which is insane. Like, don't even need a computer. Like, that's great. Genshin Impact is worth bringing up right now because its launch was huge. I think I just read here now that they had roughly about $100 million from marketing across China, Japan, and the United States. It had 5.3 million pre-registrations outside of China before the game even came out. It seems like it's got like some gacha gambling mechanics. It's also like it blew up on Twitch. I believe the day that it launched, it was more popular than Fortnite on Twitch the day it was launched, which is crazy. You know what I mean? And it's A couple of friends have been playing it. They've been saying good things because it's like an open world RPG. It's getting related to like Breath of the Wild style. It looks artistic and simplistic, so it's free to play. I'm going to try it out. I got a lot of friends telling me to. Big updates to Minecraft, which is there's better cave generation, the archaeology system, new blocks, new mobs. There's a cliff update, and more specifically, they added axolotls to the game, which are those adorable little aquatic amphibious creatures. I love them. They're so cute. So this is cool. Super quick. The Razer is partnered with Visa to do their own prepaid card system. And if you get the premium card, it actually has a little green LED Razer logo on it whenever you use the chip, which is sick. It's like, I'm just waiting for the RGB. Prison Architect is free right now. You only have like a few hours left. I'm assuming by the time this drops on YouTube, you'll only have a few hours left to pick it up. But Prison Architect is free until the 11th of October.
Where is that, on Steam?
I'm not too sure. Steam, yeah, it seems like it's on Steam and a couple other places as well. But yeah, it's to celebrate its 5 years and 9 million prisons built. So it's free right now. This one, Dorian, Dennis, you'll like this. The people who made Star Wars Squadrons, the studio, they are currently working on 7 other projects as well.
Why would I like that? I didn't like Star Wars Squadrons, bro.
Yeah, well, it's actually had a pretty good positive response from, you know how people have been getting on EA for their Star Wars license, despite Jedi Fallen Order getting a pretty good response. And so there's another good response to EA
We'll talk about this next
There's
podcast,
no way that game is just mouse and keyboard. I looked it up. There's no way that game is going to force you to use a mouse and keyboard in VR.
It does, though.
I tried. I used a controller. I used a controller when I was playing.
That's what I'm saying.
So you can use a controller, but you can't use the actual VR controllers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
As long as you could still use a controller.
Speaking about throwing up, now that was a game that made me almost throw. I took that off in the first 10 minutes. I don't know what the hell it was going on. Like me trying to pilot, it was crazy, man. I returned the game, but I could see people having a lot of fun with it. So I don't want to bash it because, it just wasn't for me. VR Star Wars might not be for me. I'm good with the Vader Immortal. I don't need to become a pilot as well. I'm just good at being a Jedi. So that's all.
All right. And then super quick, last 3 things here. This week, free on the Epic Game Store is Rising Storm 2, Vietnam and Abzu. As we know, Apple and Epic are going to court next year, 2021. And Microsoft sides with Epic, and they've decided to make the Microsoft Store more. There's kind of Microsoft and Google on the same page, where they're making it a lot more accessible for third-party people to get involved. And then this one kind of actually ties in more to the question you asked me earlier, Dennis, with regards to games falling off and what's popular, what's not popular, which is League of Legends. Riot had to close its Sydney office and dissolve the entire Oceanic Pro League, because it just wasn't meeting the goals needed. So the entire Oceanic Pro League dissolved. All the pro players have moved to the US-Canada League, and that entire division in Sydney is closed down, because the main reason for that, for their Sydney office to exist, was for the Oceanic League. And seeing as they both coincide, they've just dropped the whole thing. But that was the last bit of news I had to talk about.
Cool. All right. That's it for this episode. Dorian, where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Dorian Parks and Rec. You can find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks, and you can find me right here at Collider Games.
Josh?
You guys can find me right here on Collider Games. You guys can find me on Instagram at josh.toki, and you can find me on Twitch at josh_toki.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram, dennis.tzng. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Subscribe to our podcast feed, which is the Collider Factory feed, for this, plus other interviews and reviews and all that good stuff upcoming in the future. So until next time, we'll see you guys later.